Hi, hello. How are you doing? How's everyone? Hope you're doing well. In the background here, I'm inking a page for a new project I'm working on. It's a little sped up time lapse. Hope you enjoy that. But the main topic of today's video is drama in online spaces, online communities, mainly in the art, manga, webtoon space of things, but it'll apply to just online spaces in general. This might be kind of a rant video, but also not really. I'm not going to be screaming or dissing anybody, but I do want to discuss online communities and my experience with them. And maybe some of you can relate to this or even learn something. Just a little disclaimer, I'm not making this video to call anyone out in particular. I'm not naming any names. But I might talk about things and people that I've met vaguely, and some of you watching might know what I'm talking about, or more details about, what I'm discussing, and I just ask that you, keep it private. Like, we don't need any discourse in the comments about anything. But yeah, I'm gonna be vague so no one feels targeted or anything like that. So I did write a script for this video like almost 3 months ago, and after reading through it again, I realized that most of what I've wrote here still holds up, but there are a few things that my opinion has slightly changed on. I've looked back at this, I've had time to cool down about some of the things that I'll be talking about, and there's some things that I want to add on to it that weren't in the script. So yeah, I'm glad to have given myself time to actually think about this whole thing, because there is a lot to kind of unpack about just how I feel about this whole thing. So yeah, this video was kind of a long time coming. I mentioned the idea of making a drama related video like in my first video that I uploaded here. At the end of that video, I was giving out ideas like things to make videos about, and drama was one of them. Yeah, this is finally coming out months later. But anyway, some recent events just in the last few months, last like 6 months, half a year now, I guess, have led me to really feel the need to kind of record this video and get these things off my chest. And I mean that plurally, like multiple friend groups having shit happen all at like the same time. And just to put it simply, like, I'm so just done with it. I'm so tired of all the BS, dude. It's one of the factors that kind of led to the recent burnout that I had a couple of months ago. Shortly after I slowed down the Blood White episode releases, and it went on for several months. I'm still recovering it to a certain extent to this day. But anyway, just dealing with so many like different parties of people, like different friend groups, and the pressure that comes with it, it just became very exhausting to maintain that kind of like, I don't really know how to explain it. Like finding a way to find time for everybody whilst also dealing with all the problems that each of these groups are having. And it's so exhausting. I'm not the type of person who likes to pick sides when people are having arguments. Like even if someone's in the wrong, like I don't necessarily pick the person in the right side. Like I don't really believe in like picking sides. But what I like to do is have these two people talk things out. The person who was in the wrong learn from their mistake, and the person who was in the right forgives them, and we move forward from there, right? I usually keep being friends with both, assuming the person in the wrong didn't do something completely outlandish, Unfortunately, in the online space, discourse is extremely common, and dealing with this stuff is, like I said, exhausting. This tendency of mine to kind of like have the desire for everyone to just kind of make amends and get along regardless of differences and all that. Because there's so much discourse, like it just becomes so mentally and emotionally exhausting. And it leads to me becoming, just over the years, started being more and more avoidant as time has gone on. Like, I don't text or reach out to people or engage in discussions online, like, hardly ever anymore. And it sucks. And I'm at the point now where if I want to get things done, and I've noticed other people, like, they've been less active in these places too, so they might feel the same way. If I want to do what I originally set out to do, which is focus on my craft, publish episodes or chapters, or, you know, making a manga or drawing an illustration of whatever it is that I'm doing, that I need to distance myself from communities a bit, because that a community is like, it's an add-on to what I'm already doing. Like, it's there to encourage me, and it's a place for me to engage with people with similar ideas. And as of late, I feel like I'm gaining less and less from that, and it's distracting me from what I originally set out to do. So I find myself wanting to kind of be like my own thing these days, instead of being tied too close to something. And to be completely honest, that it makes me sad that I feel this way. And I don't know if any of you might feel this way, but it's like, I hate the way that it is right now. You know, recently I've kind of grown to kind of hate, I guess, the indie manga / webtoon space. And it's not because I necessarily dislike the people in it. I just hate the way that we're forced to interact with each other. Like, it's all online, it's all mostly fake. And because it's online, like, differences are so much more difficult to, like, overcome. And the difference gap is bigger because we all come from so many different cultures and ideals, that kind of setting. It's polarizing. And it makes everything hard for everyone to get along. You know, I always think about, you know, like Japan, where they have all the manga authors and artists in their studios and stuff. Like, do they ever have discourse the way that I've noticed that all the Western creators have? Like, do they ever just fucking hate someone else's guts? Like, to the point where, like, every time they see each other, they just either give each other the cold shoulder, or they just, like, flip each other off or something like that. Like, I don't think that's really a thing. I mean, if there is, then we obviously haven't heard much about it. I mean, the only example I can think of is maybe, like, some of the creators that have, you know, done certain crimes, and then other creators are like, yeah, screw that guy. But other than that, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's really the same way that it is here. Yeah, I've been active on social media and I guess community for like the last 3 years or so. You know, whether it be manga or webtoon spaces on Reddit or Discord or whatever. You know, I think it's kind of impossible to not at least run into at least a few, maybe one or two people that you just, for the life of you, just cannot like for whatever reason. I just don't think it's possible to like or get along with everybody that you meet. Like, it's just, you can't do that. You can try, but certain people are just going to be like your antithesis. I don't know if I said that word right, but I think you know what I mean. Hopefully. You know, I've only really personally, like, met like maybe one or two people that I've not really cared for that much. You know, one was in the webtoon space, one was in the manga space, and, you know, I tried to get along with these people, tried to like them, but, you know, after a while, I just, you know, I couldn't force it anymore. So I would guess that a lot of you who are watching this that are involved in communities have also experienced plenty of people, or maybe not plenty, maybe one or two like me, but in some cases, maybe plenty of people that you just didn't like, right? So I'm the type of person, like, even if I dislike them, I want to try to understand them, see where they're coming from. And if I can't do that, then I do one of two things. Yeah, when I meet somebody that I don't really like or don't care for, I do one of two things. Either I try to talk to them, try to understand where they're coming from, and, make peace, come to an understanding. And if I can't do that, then I just ignore them. It's very simple. I let them live their life. I will never speak or deal with them again. But, sometimes you have to, and then in that case, I'll just be cordial. Yeah, I think it's just kind of online etiquette, not even just online etiquette, just in general. If you don't like somebody, that's the best way to go about it. Why am I explaining you how to avoid drama? A lot of you probably already know this, right? But a lot of people don't. So, it's pretty common for people in communities to not really do either of these two things. Either it's, someone being petty, or someone trying to perpetuate issues, or, not talking things over. And especially online, it's really easy to not talk things over, because if you don't like somebody, then you just ignore them or block them, right? And, I just said, if you don't like somebody, ignore them, right? But that's after I've put in the effort to try and talk to them. I've tried to talk to some people before, but they either just ignore me or pretend like I don't exist. So I just okay, I'll do the same. A lot of people in online communities are in their mid to late teens, early 20s. So, it's kind of unavoidable that there's going to be some immaturity in these spaces. So, I kind of cut some slack a lot of the time, when I'm talking to people, because I was like, okay, well, they're young, so they're still making mistakes and learning from them, right? I'm 25, I'm kind of at the quarter life crisis, the point where it's okay, I'm done dealing with people's shit. I don't really want to hear their crap anymore, but, I do want to say, if you are younger than me, early 20s, mid to late teens, I'm not holding it against you for being that young. It's just part of growing up, right? Getting older, maturing, learning lessons and all that. That's just how it works, right? There are people older than me who still do these stupid things, though. People in their late 20s and 30s and even 40s and older. And, I'm at the point where I just don't want to deal with that shit. I don't have the time or the energy for it. I have things that I want to do. And this community thing is a side thing. I didn't join these communities to make friends. Friends are great. It's a bonus, but that's not why I started this. I came here because I had a passion. I wanted to draw, I wanted to write, and I wanted to share it with the world. Friends are a bonus. If they're holding me back, if they're doing petty stuff, then I'm not going to fucking deal with it anymore. There's people younger and older than me who feel the same way. I sympathize with the people who are younger, who make a lot of mistakes, doing immature things. I've been there, I've done that. I made a lot of those mistakes when I was that age. So, I sympathize with it. I made a lot of the same mistakes and stupid decisions and immature actions that I see people doing online. I've done all of it too. Years ago, I've done it. And I know how hard it is to get along with certain people sometimes, and how hard it is not to lash out and crash out. But even today, I'm still figuring out how to approach certain things. There's still things that I see other people in the space doing that just ruffle my feathers. They rustle my jimmies. After a certain point, though, there's certain things that you just don't want to put up with anymore. And if people get upset that you don't want to acknowledge their bull crap, then after a while it's just well, that's your responsibility. It's not mine. I can help you to a certain extent, but ultimately, a lot of your problems are your responsibility. And I'm talking about the internal problems that you have, not the external problems. The internal problems are yours to solve. Yeah. Over the years, there's been a lot of friends of mine that have split up, fallen out. It makes me sad. How many of you have had 2 or more friends that, used to be friends, they split apart, and it was over some bull crap, some stupid shit, right? Sometimes it's for a valid reason. Sometimes it has to be done. Sometimes it's over something stupid. Either way, it sucks. I don't know, I've seen more people cut each other off online. Like online friendships, I've seen more people just go their separate ways online more than I've ever seen in person. Like online friendships are so damn fragile, dude. It's really easy to just not talk things out online. It's so easy to just avoid them, just block them out, never talk to them again. You did one thing to cross me, you're done, you're out. You know, it's cutthroat. A lot of people don't like to talk things out, they just let things build up. That's why I think it's important for conversation to occur. Now, recently I've preferred talking to people in VC. You know, I don't really text people that much anymore. And it's because talking to people in VC is about as real and human as a connection can get with your online buddies, right? Especially on social media. I don't really talk to people much there anymore either. I don't really enjoy texting that much. It just, a lot of the time it just feels kind of performative, especially in these spaces. You know, in voice chat, it's more, you know, we're just chilling. You know, I feel closer to people that I've talked to in VC than people I've known. You know, people in VC that I've talked to like maybe once or twice, you know, just recently, than people I've known for years and never talked to. Another thing I wanted to bring up, at one point, I think over a year ago, I think I made a Discord, my own Discord channel, or a Discord server. You know, I was gonna invite all my friends to it, all the people who like actually like Blood White, the people who care about it and all that. And I didn't do anything with it. I made the server and it still exists. I just never did anything with it. And the reason why I never invited a lot of people to it is because I realized how many of my friends, my online friends, just don't like each other. I just didn't want anything to happen. And that held me back from like kind of building my own community. And, you know, now I would be like, you know, fuck it, I'll invite all of them, and if they want to start shit, that's their problem. You know, they need to come to terms and solve that, or, you know, it's frustrating, but, you know, I'm not really interested in having my own server community right now anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. But, you know, being part of these communities, it's been fun, it's been rewarding in a lot of ways. You know, making connections and opportunities that have arisen, and, you know, being able to collaborate with people, and it's been really fun, but it's also been very restricting and exhausting to keep up with. And right now I'm kind of at the point where I feel like it's holding me back more than helping me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. And weird thing I've noticed too is that I've seen a lot of people who aren't as like engaging in communities, or they're the ones that I've seen be more successful recently and build healthier mindsets, which is really interesting. You know, the saying misery loves company is a thing for a reason, right? You know, as time has gone on, I've found myself wanting to focus more on why I started drawing and writing, and rebuild my passion again to kind of like kill the burnout for good, and go back to having fun doing it. You know, right now I'm kind of focused on maintaining the friendships I already have rather than building any new ones. It's kind of just where I'm at right now. You know, I have a lot of issues, you know, behind the screen that I don't talk about much, and those things need to be addressed, and I need to just cut out the things that are holding me back as of right now. So yeah, that's about all I have to say in this video. Okay, I think that's about everything I had to say on this topic. Moral of the story is get along with people, but don't be a people pleaser. Stand up for yourself and draw and do what you love. Don't let anyone stop you. That's about it. So yeah, if you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and yeah, appreciate it. Hi, hello, little bonus topic here. I don't know if this is going to be at the end of the drama video or if it's its own little separate video, but yeah, this might be my last video. If not, then my last video for a really long time, because I don't really want to be a YouTuber or a content creator. I want to focus on my art and my writing quality, and I want to kind of put all my focus into that, especially with life changes that I'm going to be going through recently, to as I said, you know, do some cutting out of things that aren't really serving me anymore. And you know, as the channel has existed. I hope you guys have, learned something from any of the videos that I've published. Some of the videos I might have said things that I no longer agree with, but I think either way they're kind of a time capsule of like where I was in my art journey and what I was going through at a certain point. But yeah, that's why I'm gonna leave them up. I don't know if I'm gonna leave them up forever, but I'm gonna leave them up even if there's things in there that I no longer agree with. I think there's, I can't watch my own videos anymore because they make me cringe, but I'm sure there's something in there for people to grasp onto and maybe relate to and learn something. I think the coloring video I might leave up for a while, even if it might be outdated at some point and I have a whole new way of doing things. But yeah, that's about it, I think. So yeah, since I may or may not be uploading here anymore, I'm just gonna plug where you can follow me elsewhere if this is the only place you watch or consume my content from. I don't know why this would be the only place, because I'm not the best at making videos, but yeah, you can follow me at Tsukiyogen everywhere, and read my work, Blood White, and you can find any future works that I make by following me anywhere. I'm not the best at self-promotion. I need to work on that. But I hope you figured out how to support me if that's what you want to do. So anyway, thanks for watching. For anyone who's been around since my first few videos for the channel, then thank you. But yeah, it's time to move on and kind of focus on more important things. But yeah, thank you for watching.